Hello, everyone. Welcome to Grow Up, Level Up, an interview podcast where we talk to folks about the fun and games that helped us grow up. I'm Samson, and in this podcast, I do interviews with people and explore the childhood games, whether it's video games, tabletop games, playground games, and more, that helped them grow up and had an impact in their life. I also talk to them about the types of games and fun experiences that they choose to participate in today. The goal of this podcast is to highlight the importance that fun has in our lives and relationships, whether it's growing up, present day, or in the future. Without further ado, let's bring in our guest for this episode of Grow Up, Level Up. Hey, hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Grow Up, Level Up, the podcast where we talk to folks about the fun and games that help them grow up and how people incorporate fun and games into their lives today. Today we have a very, very special guest, as always. Before we get into that, though, I have a little bit of housekeeping. Actually, it's so little. It's 1 point. We actually started a Discord server for the community. So if you ever want to chat with me or other folks that listen to Grow Up, Level Up, or want to maybe talk with our guests who are in the community, Discord link is below in the description. As well, if you liked what you heard, if you enjoy this content, please give me feedback, good or bad. Give me a thumbs up, 5 stars on the podcast services. And if you really liked it, please subscribe on podcast and YouTube if that's where you're watching. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest. This guest today has been in the scene since the early days of modern esports. He is first and foremost an advocate for those with disabilities to help keep playing games and video games. He's also playing games at a competitive level. He's currently a Twitch streamer that mainly plays Apex Legends ranked, but he's also played in other competitive video games as well, including Overwatch. So our guest today is here to share about his journey on gaming with a disability and his vision for the future of gaming and inclusivity. So please welcome Jeff, aka Captain Awesome.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here. To get this opportunity to kind of share a little bit behind why I do what I do. And yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy couple of years.
Yeah. I've we were talking about it before the show, but I mentioned that Jeff is a Apex Legends streamer, but I first kind of met Captain Awesome here while he was a supporter for the Dallas Fuel in Overwatch.
Oh yeah, that was kind of on the end of my Overwatch career, I guess. Before that, I was involved with the Atlanta Rain. I was involved with the Shock. Since season 1.
Wow. Okay.
In season 1, I got to go and meet all the players.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Yeah.
That kind of sparked the whole Overwatch career. I played Overwatch for like 5 years before going over to Apex. Like I said, that was cool. That was like on the end of my career. There's a lot of negativity and stuff that was going on. Not from them, obviously, but from the community.
Okay.
For some reason, I was getting bullied and harassed because I was getting recognition and I was getting like clout, I guess.
Yeah.
And
you,
and
people started noticing you, I guess. Yeah, and that brought out
yeah,
the
and
haters as well.
it did, and it got to the point where I was getting bullied in game.
Oh my goodness. Hey,
Um,
and I'm sure we'll dive into that going
yeah,
later in the episode.
yeah,
Don't want
yeah.
to
We
jump
don't
the gun
want
here. Before that, I want to ask you, what are you drinking on the podcast today?
to. I got some coffee.
Ooh, how do you take your coffee?
Very heavy cream.
Oh, okay.
A lot of cream.
Oh,
Um,
nice. Okay.
I'm not too keen on the coffee flavor.
Oh, but you need the coffee kick.
Yeah, yeah.
um, I'm similar. I got my Coke Zero, a
Oh,
little
there you go.
coffee kick. Yeah, I really love
Yeah,
Coke Zero.
caffeine.
Yeah. Hey, it's good. It's good podcast juice, as they say, as I've heard.
Yeah.
So my second question for you is, what are your top 3 video games of all time?
Well, I'd be silly if I didn't say Overwatch.
Hmm.
Um, and then Call of Duty, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, that was like my first taste of multiplayer.
Okay.
Um, when I was a kid, like I played a lot, a lot of
Cool.
Call of Duty. Um, I really enjoy Final Fantasy VII. That was a good game for me.
Final Fantasy,
Um,
the
yeah,
original one from back then.
yeah, from the PlayStation 1.
Wow, nice.
Um, yeah, because those three, I guess, really kind of got me into to
Video games.
gaming and
Yeah.
then like multiplayer.
It's well, 2 out of 3 are like very competitive multiplayer games, Call of Duty and Overwatch, which is very like they're tough games because you're playing against other people, right?
Yeah, I mean, Call of Duty, like, I, and if like any Call of Duty I could pick up and play it because
Hmm.
it's so ingrained in my DNA.
Really?
Like, yeah, so like, I was playing Call of Duty like for years.
Hmm.
Like, I would be, I would buy like the new Call of Duty like every year,
Yeah.
even though I was bad at it, like I
Uh-huh.
still, I, I still wanted to play it because
Okay.
like everybody I knew was playing it, and all my friends were playing it,
Hmm.
and I was like, I want to be like everybody else. I want to
Yeah.
play
Is
Call of Duty.
is there a specific Call of Duty that you like the most?
The one that I remember playing the most was Black Ops.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I think I remember it as well. It's the Yeah, I think I remember one of the maps really well. It's like trenches in the forest. Forgot what it was called though.
I remember the old like 1950s
Hmm.
uh with the two houses. It's I don't and it had like a school bus in the middle of it. In the
Oh,
middle of
oh,
it. Yeah.
Nuketown, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Nuketown.
yeah.
That's a classic. Yeah, that's like one of the best maps ever.
I remember playing it like constantly,
Yeah.
like just 24/7, like trying to get better,
Yeah.
like 'cause like there wasn't a lot of running, like it
Mm.
was a small map, so
Yep. Yep.
like you were just focused on shooting. and
Yeah, it was
that
yeah, it was really small, I remember. And it was pretty simple. It's like 2 houses, a middle part, and like that's about
yeah,
it. So
that
it made the gunfights really cool. Yeah.
and it helped me get better really quickly, like
Hmm.
because you were constantly fighting.
Yeah. No, that is a fun map. I forgot that was from Black Ops. That is like a classic now. Nuketown.
Yeah,
So hey, those are some three really great games. Overwatch is still one of my favorites as well. I still play it pretty
yeah.
often, despite
Uh,
all the hate it gets. Yeah.
I mean, without Overwatch, I don't think I would be where I am.
Hmm.
So I have to give it credit
Yeah.
for getting me to where I am today.
Totally.
Um,
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing your top three. And I guess Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 7 actually comes up a lot on our podcast with the different folks. They always choose that one. So maybe I
I
should play
don't
it one
know
day.
what it is. So
Oh yeah.
like I just remember playing that game for hours and
Hmm.
hours.
Hmm. Yeah, that one is well, there's a reason why they spent so much money and like remade it to look all beautiful and modern with the
Oh
remake.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
like
forgot
everyone's
about
favorite.
that. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about your career as a streamer. I see you streaming pretty much like almost every day, playing not only just like video games but competitive video games like in Apex. For I'll give a little bit of context for our folks who maybe aren't familiar with the game. So Captain Awesome streams on Twitch. He plays a game called Apex Legends, and in Apex Legends, it's a shooting game where you and your team of three try to be the last ones alive. It's not actually 3v3, it's three versus like 57 other players to try to be the last team alive. And it's not a slow game. There's a lot of maneuvering and aiming that you have to do and balance around. So Apex Legends is quite a physically intensive game. Um, and don't for those who don't know Captain Awesome, maybe as you tell about your career as a streamer, maybe you can share a bit about your story and your disability.
Okay. Well, as a streamer, I had an accident when I was, I think, 21, 22. I was hit by a car going 50 miles an hour, crossing the street, and with that incident kind of gave me a new outlook on life and kind of sparked like an optimistic outlook. And so I was working retail at the time, and I would tell my story to people, um, like my disability, which is like a muscle disability that affects my right side. The
Mhm,
muscles don't really work as fast as they should.
mhm.
So like I have to think about not the next step, but the next step
Wow.
before. So yeah, but yeah, like I was telling a story about like I was hit by a car
Wow.
and like I survived,
Mhm,
and I could see how it affected people in real life. Like I could see the eyes light up. I can see people
wow.
the reaction that people had in real life. The positive influence that I had on people. You would see the moment that you would inspire them on their face.
Mhm.
And so I was like, I hate working retail.
Yeah.
like and so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go play games.
Mhm,
It's a bigger audience, it's a wider range of people. And so I was like, I'm done working retail. I want to do something that makes me happy, but also makes a difference.
mhm.
And so that was in 2012. I was like, I'm done working retail. I want to be a streamer. I want
Mhm,
to like get a wider audience. I want to affect more people.
mhm.
And
Well,
so
that was in 2012. So you've been streaming for almost, well, over 10 years. And That was
Yeah,
2012's before streaming even really took off
yeah,
as a career.
and
Yeah.
I was doing it off and on, not full time, but
Mm.
like couple days a week. I was still kind of working a real job, if you will, um, because I wasn't making any money streaming, so
Mhm.
I had to have like a real job.
Mhm. Like a full-time kind of
Yeah,
something like that, yeah.
yeah, something just to make money.
Mhm.
Um, and so, like, I didn't fully commit to streaming until, like, I want to say 2017 is
Mhm.
when I was like, you know what? I'm actually done listening to this show. Like, I was just, I was getting treated so poorly because I had a disability
Mhm.
and people could get away with it. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and this is like when Overwatch came out. So
Hmm.
like I was really just involved in Overwatch and just trying to get my name out there
Mhm.
and like just look at me, look at what I'm doing, like
Yeah.
look at what people are saying about what I'm doing.
Mhm.
And so but yeah, like recently I've only been playing Apex for
Mhm.
a couple of years.
Mhm, mhm.
And um so like I just I was more focused on changing lives than I was like making money. But
Right.
like
Wow.
that's yeah, that's what I'm more like about rather than like, oh I need to make X number of subs a week. I'm not about that. Like if I was
Mhm.
about that, it would defeat my whole kind of what I'm doing.
Yeah. Your
Uh,
purpose of doing it in the first place.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I played Overwatch, like I said, for 5 years,
Yeah.
and I kind of got to the point where like I hit a wall
Mhm.
because I wasn't able to compete uh like at a high level, and just the negative energy that was surrounding the game
Mm. Mhm.
and like Overwatch League, Overwatch League as a whole was on a downhill.
Mhm.
Like it's like on a downhill spiral from what I've seen, and I wasn't getting any opportunities,
Mhm.
and I ended up like I said getting bullied to the point I had to leave
Mhm.
because people didn't like that I was getting notoriety as a
Mm.
streamer, as a positive influence. So I had people in my game harassing me and
Wow.
like and stuff to the point where I ended up I started crying during the
Mm.
game while I was streaming because I was just so overwhelmed with this I can't do this anymore.
Well, you were getting straight up cyberbullied or getting
Yeah,
bullied, like, and
yeah.
harassed in the game, like, that's, just because and you say it's because people were, would you say they were, like, jealous of you, or it's just because
Oh
you were a
yeah.
big name and you were getting
They were
notoriety?
jealous that I was getting support and stuff.
Mhm.
I think they were more jealous that I was getting support from our teams
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
players, even though I was in bronze.
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think that's what people were more upset with
Mm.
because they didn't like that I was like still in bronze and I
Mhm.
was still getting like support. I was named one of the biggest fans of
Hmm.
Overwatch 3, and like it's just I still see it when I play Apex,
Wow.
but
Okay.
it's a lot less because of the mass support I get from both players
Hmm.
and orgs, because people see that and they're like, oh, if we mess with him, we'll have to we'll have to answer to pro
Hmm.
players, we'll have to answer to other people.
Hmm.
And with Overwatch, it wasn't like that. Like I
Oh.
didn't have people stepping in and being like, yo, like chill out. Like,
Yeah.
and that's why it happens so rarely in Apex, because I think people see the kind of support and
Hmm.
they know if like I remember a couple, I don't know if it was like a week or two ago, I C9, the org, um, had tweeted something like, "Oh, let's start some some beef,"
Hmm.
and I was like, "How about like you do something positive?"
Hmm. Hmm.
And I don't know if you saw that, but like the whole Apex community kind of was like, cause they said something like they ratioed me or something,
Yeah. Yeah. They ratioed you.
and
It's
I was
like they got more votes, so we got more people
yeah,
behind us.
yeah, and I was like, that's kind of weird. Okay,
Hmm.
whatever, like that's cool.
Hmm.
Do you? But the whole Apex community was like, yo, that's do you know who that is?
Hmm.
Like, do you know who you're talking to?
Hmm.
Like, and even the person behind the Apex account was like, yo, you messed up.
Oh
Like,
wow.
and so that kind of shows the support that I get.
Hmm.
Even like a big name like C9, the account, it didn't matter. Like,
Mm. You so like people came to support you as a person rather than just like pile on to like the big corporation or
yeah,
oh
yeah.
that's awesome.
And
That's
that's the difference between Apex and Overwatch.
the community in Apex you would say is a lot quicker and faster to be more supportive and instead of yeah like
Well, yeah,
do what you're
and
doing.
when I got played in Overwatch,
Hmm.
there was, I remember Kairosa,
Oh
um,
yeah, Stylosa.
he actually was the only one that actually reached out to Blizzard, the dev team, and was
Hmm.
like, yo, you gotta do something
Oh
here
wow.
to help this guy out. And nothing happened. And I was just like, okay, well, maybe it's time for me to leave.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's yeah, that's really tough to hear when it's like I'm giving so much for this game and this community, but I'm not receiving it back. That's in the grand scheme of things, it's just a game. So it's like
Well,
you
yeah,
could leave,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
I don't mean to minimize that, but like it's one of the benefits is like, hey, I if this community is not reciprocal, like I can always leave and go to a place where I am appreciated and supported.
Well, yeah. And don't get me wrong, like, over the last couple of years, like, I kind of dip my toes into Overwatch
Mhm.
just to kind of see how
Reminisce.
it is. Yeah, well, that, yeah. Because I
Yeah.
was so big in that game.
Hmm.
People like, why don't you play Overwatch? Why
Right.
don't you play Overwatch?
Right.
what happened to Overwatch, and people they don't want to hear what actually happened.
Oh, interesting.
They just want you to play the game.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's interesting that people still ask for it. Um, but then you've like, oh, I've moved on. I play something else now. I have a different community now, but people still yearn for the past, I guess, more or less.
Well, yeah, and like people remember like me from Overwatch.
Hmm. That's
So
interesting. So, well, for Apex, we talked a little bit about the community. That's what draws you to the game. What about the game itself? Is there anything in that game that you really like over, say, Overwatch, like another
I
competitor?
mean, I like the strategic aspect.
Hmm.
Like you can't just run it down. You can't just
Can't
like
throw as easily. Yeah.
yeah, you can't just well you can,
I
but
guess. Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
but like you have to be smart about how you play.
Mm.
Like you can't just I'm gonna 1v3 this team.
Hmm.
Like you have to well if I go here, the ring is gonna close and I
Hmm.
won't be in a good spot to play.
Yeah.
Like like you have to know the the storm, you have to know where other people are
Hmm.
gonna wanna play. Like you can
Okay. Yeah. The strategy around it all and
yeah.
all that is important. Yeah. That's true. Like it always feels good to like outsmart um somebody's movement and rotation. You're like, oh, I'll just go here and there,
Well
and
yeah,
you
and
end up winning hopefully.
that's how I play.
Hmm.
I'm not the greatest with gun skill, so
Hmm. Play
I have
smarter.
to yeah, I have to play smarter than my enemy
Hmm.
because I use I use my abilities a lot to
Hmm.
outsmart people
Hmm.
and rather than gun skill. Because if I can outsmart you and let's say get behind you,
Hmm.
you're dead. There's no there's no like like I use abilities to outsmart people.
Yeah.
I use game knowledge to outsmart people.
Hmm.
Like sometimes, yeah, I'll run it down and I'll try to win off a gun skill
Hmm.
because that's how you get better.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
But
for me, like I have to work on like game sense
game
and
sense. Yeah.
outplaying people rather than gun skill.
I think that is that's, well, speaking more broadly than Apex, that's something that isn't as popular to think about, I guess, because in all the montages you see the crazy clips where they go foo, 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 and like it
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
so cool.
yeah,
But
yeah.
if you actually want to win and be good, it's all about like the brain and trying to outsmart them, like set yourself up for success. And that seems to be your strategy, is to why work harder when you can play smarter, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
like I love it. I love watching pro players
Hmm.
play, like,
Hmm.
and then trying to implement that in my own gameplay. Um, I listen to what they say, like rather than like watching their montage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome.
Like, cause that's how I like learn. If I
Hmm.
watch people and then I'll try to do what they do
Yeah.
or play the way they play. So
Well, learning by example,
yeah,
right? Yeah. Yeah, I tend to try to do that too. It's like, oh, I didn't know you can do that with this character, and then you end up trying it in your own games. You just
yeah.
leave it up to the pros. No, that's awesome. So for your streaming, do you do it full time right now, or how? I guess if somebody wants to watch your stream, how can they do that?
I stream every night. almost like
Every yeah.
I put in the work. Like
Yeah.
I I scream every night for about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Mhm.
I'm not one of those people that will scream 4 or 5 hours a night.
Yeah.
I
That's
just
a lot.
it's a lot, but that's normal for most people.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
like I have a daughter, so
Mm.
like she runs me into the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. She needs
um,
support too.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a single parent. So
Oh, okay.
I have my daughter 3 or 4 days a week
Mhm.
during the day. So I don't do daytime screening because, like I said, I have my daughter. So
Yeah.
I can do it when she's asleep.
Mhm.
And by the time like 8 o'clock comes around,
Mhm.
uh, 7, 8 o'clock PST, I'm already like exhausted.
Yeah. Being a parent is also very important. Some say
It
more
is.
important than gaming.
Well,
That's
yeah,
awesome though. Yeah.
but like I stream every day. I post content every day on YouTube, Instagram, uh,
Awesome.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Um,
All
just
under Captain Awesome, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
all the same on all my channels. I got
awesome.
lucky
Yeah.
and I got to have all the same name,
That's
so
awesome.
it's easy to find.
Yeah, so, and we'll definitely link everything below. So if you want to give Captain Awesome a follow, check the links down in the description or the show notes on the podcast. Yeah. No, that's awesome. That sounds like a pretty fun way to do kind of both your passions of streaming, gaming, and as well your job as a father as well, right?
Well, yeah, like I want to be at the point where I can give her like a better life than
Mm.
we have.
Hmm,
Um,
hmm.
and like I'm lucky to be in a position where I don't have to have a job.
Mm.
Um, and I can stream every day of the week when I can, and like be an inspiration for people. Um, and for her, like like I wish that she can see
Hmm.
the the effect that I have on people
That's awesome.
online. Like
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
awesome.
it's crazy. Like I don't see it as like the big grand thing. Like I try to do it for one person a day. Like if I can
Mm.
inspire one person 1 day a week, that's 7 people. Like
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, for
so.
me, you've always been a big inspiration for me. I know a lot of what you do online is like content creation is also hard work for one, and the fact that you can do it like every day and keep it up, like I'm like, oh man, if someone like Captain Awesome can stream every day and take care of a child and work full-time job and still do this content creation thing, like I should be able to too.
I mean, like people don't know like how much that I've been through
Yeah.
to get to where I am. They only see the positive stuff because
Hmm.
that's all people that's what they need.
Right.
Like we've got enough negativity in online, we've got enough of that. Like
Hmm.
I have stuff that happens to me, but I
Yeah.
don't share it because it's not what people need. People need that positive reinforcement.
Hmm.
Like it's just it's crazy. Like a lot of the big name is APEX creators. I see how negative they are,
Yeah.
and then I see the smaller creators and they're negative too. I'm just like, bro, come on, like,
There's a whole positive end of the spectrum that you could be
yeah,
like, hey, I'll fit in
yeah,
here. That's
yeah, right,
awesome. Yeah, no, positivity is so important, especially online. I'm sure you've heard of the phrase that like bad news sells.
yeah,
People are
it does.
always looking for the bad news, but yeah, it's like our life is short. Like we should be spending these times being positive and trying to make each other better.
Well,
In whichever way.
my yeah, and like my life was just almost taken away,
Mm,
and so like I was like, you know what? I only got like one life.
mhm,
Am I gonna spend it being like negative and harassing people, or am
mhm.
I gonna spend it inspiring people and giving other people hope?
That's awesome, man. I'm
And
really yeah.
that's what I want to be remembered by. Like, not I don't want to be like, oh, he was disabled, or that's what he used to get clout. Like,
Mm, mhm,
and that's what a lot of people tend to cling to, and they're like, oh, he's got a disability. He's
mhm.
using that for clout, and
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's not. That's just a part of who I am. Like,
Mhm,
and like I don't like that's not something that I use for clout or whatever. Like that's like I acknowledge it because people ask
mhm,
and people want to know, or people comment negatively about it. And I'm
mhm.
like, yeah, like it's part of who I am. I accept it, but that's not my whole persona.
It's not your no, no, I get what you're saying. It's you're not using it to, and I noticed that this might be wrong, but you're not using it to your advantage. It's just who you are, and um like this disability, you want to share your story and share how you're able to like play games, or maybe use it as a way to show like, oh, this game's different to play because of my
well,
disability.
well, yeah, and like I want to show that you can overcome,
Hmm.
like you can overcome anything to do to play Apex or whatever at the highest level. Like
Hmm.
I competed in the pro, like the semi-pro scene of
Wow,
Apex.
that's awesome.
I've like I've done charity tournaments, I've done other tournaments,
Hmm.
opportunities that I would never have gotten
Hmm.
playing Overwatch
Hmm.
just because of a different uh, community. Like,
Hmm.
um, and it's crazy to think that I've played Apex
Hmm.
at the semi-pro or at the semi-pro level. Like,
Yeah,
I could have never done that in Overwatch.
that's awesome. That's
Uh,
awesome. That's a really cool story that you competed with the top and have done tournaments. That's awesome. I wanted
and
to sorry, finish your thought.
no, you're good, you're good.
I wanted to ask a little bit about accessibility in gaming. So, like, for folks who aren't in the gaming sphere, when we talk about accessibility in gaming, usually it means that there are different control schemes for players. I know you play on controller, but what is your opinion on where accessibility in gaming is going? And I guess, like in the case of Apex, does it even have good accessibility options?
I mean, it really, like, controller-wise, like, there's not, like, a full customizable button mapping. So,
Okay.
like, you have to adapt to the the buttons that they
Yeah.
have. I
Hmm.
mean, you can kind of, switch them around and whatever, which
Hmm.
I have to do, and I have to go into Steam and kind of disable certain buttons
Right, right.
because I pressed them accidentally.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
it,
I sometimes I do too. Oh, I used my
yeah,
ultimate by accident. Oh no.
yeah. And so like I have to go in and like carry rig
Mhm,
the buttons
mhm,
in Steam.
mhm.
Um but if they had like a fully customizable button mapping system,
Yeah.
that would be a hell of a lot more like accessible um for not only me but for like other people too.
Mhm.
As far as accessibility, like I I feel like I hate to say it, but like I feel like a minority like when it comes to the Apex scene.
Mhm.
Um a lot of ways like the LGBTQ community,
Mhm.
like minority, we don't get a whole lot of like eyes on us.
Okay.
That's just how I feel. Like I feel for other people like that. Like I feel that like I get eyes on me because I'm more vocal. Like
Mm.
I'm more like look at me, look at what I'm doing.
Right.
Like I want to be seen. So like I'll comment on like pro player
Yeah.
um posts.
Yep,
I'll
yep.
post stuff like
You're you're
I
involved in the
want to
community, yeah.
be, yeah, I want to be seen. Like
Mhm.
and I want opportunities. So but like I just feel like people with disabilities as a whole are a
Mm.
minority because they don't get a whole lot of help when it
Mhm.
comes to like ACAPs. I mean, I do, like, I get some help,
Mhm.
um, but like other games, like let's say Overwatch, we don't see a whole lot of people with disabilities playing
Mm.
Overwatch. I
Mhm,
like,
mhm.
I don't know of any.
Yeah,
Um,
and you've been in the scene for so long too, and you've never met
right,
another person, right? Yeah.
yeah. But
Okay.
like I said, I don't want that to be like my MO.
Yeah.
So like I kind of don't really advertise that unless people ask or
Okay.
want to know.
So
Um,
so it sounds like that you want to be you see a need for a type of player that maybe has a disability in these communities, and in a place where there aren't many like other players or community figures that have a disability and also play the game. Um,
yeah, I mean, I can only think of one other person that
mhm,
I've seen who's like a big name, and
mhm,
Rocky Nohan. I don't know if you've seen him, but he
mm.
plays with his mouth.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's like the one other compared to the
yeah,
hundreds of other different players, right?
yeah. Like he's trying to luminosity, which is crazy. I've never seen that. Like it's and that's my ultimate goal is to get something by orgs, like an
Mhm,
actual big name org.
mhm.
That's also my goal. But
Yeah,
like I said, like accessibility, uh, there's not a whole lot of it
yeah,
for ACAC
okay,
and like I don't that's not my main focus. Like
right.
I mean I am an advocate for it, but
Mhm,
like I'm more known for being a positive influence
gotcha,
and being a leader in that respect rather than oh
gotcha.
he's the face of disabled people
Yeah.
for Apex. Like that's not really what I want to be known for.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I will like help people in that respect. Um, like for me, like disability has always been like a dark veil over
Mm.
me.
Hmm.
Like it's been kind of in the way of me getting opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and even in real life, like it's been the source of a lot of discomfort because people see that I have a disability and they're like, oh, we don't want to hire him.
Hmm.
Or they hear me speak and they're like, oh, we don't want to hire him because he's quote unquote disabled or different.
Hmm.
With gaming, it doesn't matter. Like, it
No, that's
doesn't matter.
like no, like I understand. You want to be known for your positivity and your good vibes. You don't want to get people to get the wrong idea that like you're only famous because of your disability.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That I can definitely see how that is
It's
that's a
a,
very
it's,
honorable thing to do, and it's like
it's
frustrating
a,
when it doesn't go that way, right? Sorry.
well, yeah, and it's a stigma kind of for me. Like, I look at it as like a burden
Mm.
and something that I have to overcome.
Hmm.
But I accepted it. Like, yeah, I have it,
Hmm.
but that's not something that I want. Like, I don't want people to own it. Like, I don't want people with disabilities to like,
Hmm.
look at me, I have a disability. Like,
Hmm.
like that's I see that a lot. Like, I see people with disabilities like, oh, look at me, I have a disability.
Yeah. So I
But
sorry.
yeah,
Finish your thought.
so
Yeah.
oh no, but like I'm the opposite. Like I don't mention it unless I have to,
Hmm.
or or people ask, or like people make a comment.
Hmm.
So
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome. It's
yeah,
well, you're just doing like disability aside, if anybody asks about anything, like even about me, like I would tell them about it. Like what
yeah.
like I know the one I get is like, "Oh, why like where are you from?" Cuz I'm
Oh
Chinese. So I
yeah,
say I'm like from
yeah,
China,
yeah,
or I grew up
yeah,
here, but my family's from
yeah,
Hong Kong,
yeah.
like so it's just part of who you are, and it's not really something that you like need to put as your
Uh,
first quality, I guess.
yeah. I have like I don't want to toot my own horn, but like there, there's so many other different qualities
Yeah,
that I have that
totally.
people admire outside of that.
Mhm.
So, so that's just like, yeah, that's who I am, but it's
Yeah,
not the whole,
the whole
it's
picture.
not, yeah,
No, I definitely resonate with that life philosophy, I guess. Um, Look, our conversation's been going so good. Our time's actually almost running out. But before I ask our fun questions, I just want to ask you one good one is like, I guess overall, and you definitely touched on this earlier, but how have games positively influenced your life?
I mean, it's allowed me to have a platform
Mm.
to do what I do today
Hmm.
without Overwatch, without Apex, without games as a whole.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be Captain Awesome. I would just be, oh, that's tough.
Yeah, it's just Jeff.
like,
Yeah, no,
like,
yeah, that's awesome. It wouldn't have given you this without games and online games. You wouldn't be able to do like your passion, which is be a
yeah,
positive influence in communities that need one.
yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's great. Okay, so part one of my fun question is if I suddenly became super rich and I wanted to invest in a video game that is about you, and you get to direct it. You get to choose what type of game it is, from everything from like gameplay to graphics. What kind of game would it be?
Oh, I want to say like an action adventure game.
Okay.
Um, kind of like a first player, like first person,
Hmm.
uh, like maybe role playing.
Okay.
Um, kind of like, uh, like
Is it like a is it like a story game or just
yeah.
adventure? Yeah.
Like kind of like I don't know, like Spider-Man kind of.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. 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 Something
Um,
really superhero-y, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, cause that's kind of my that kind of a vibe I have for kind of what people think of me as.
Mm.
Um, I even have hero tattoo on my arm.
Oh, sick,
So
dude.
yeah, so people people kind of think of me as like a superhero.
Nice.
And so like a Superman like type of vibe.
Right. Right.
There hasn't been a good Superman game.
Hmm.
Um, so maybe like take that Spider-Man element and give it
Mm.
like a superhero
Yeah.
vibe kind of.
Yeah.
Um,
And you're the superhero, so
yeah,
there you
yeah,
go. That's awesome.
yeah.
I'd play it. That sounds great. And my last question for you, Captain Awesome, is what is your one piece of wisdom you'd like to leave with the world?
um, don't give up. I mean, oh, look at me. If I had given up when I was a kid, if I wa- if I had given up when I got hit by when I got hit by that car, like I could have easily given up.
Hmm.
I had like a broken nose. I had a broken eye socket. I was just ridiculously beat up. Um, and I could have easily said, you know what? I'm good. Take me, take me away. Like
Mm.
if I had done that, I wouldn't be Captain Awesome.
Yeah.
Um, like just don't give up on something you want.
Hmm.
Like I, like I that that right there. Like if you give up, like evil has already won.
Mm.
Like I could have easily given up when I got bullied out of Overwatch.
Yeah.
Like I could have been like, I'm done. I'm done with games. I'm done
Mm.
streaming. And to be honest, like I thought about that. I
Hmm.
really did.
Hmm.
But like just don't give up.
Oh,
You're not gonna yeah, that's just
that's
I
awesome.
know it
No,
and I know it's short, but
no,
just
it makes sense though. It's like don't give up in the grand scheme of things. Like there's always something positive at the end of the tunnel. Um,
well,
and
yeah, and if you work hard enough for it, like you will get it.
yeah,
Like you can't just not give up and just wait for something to come. Like
cool.
you can't give up, but you also have to keep working for
Right.
what you want. Like it's not gonna be handed to you.
That's true. Don't give up.
So
Persevere, I think, is another good word for
which
it.
is another word that I have tattooed on my arm.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
but yeah.
Oh,
Um
that's great. That's amazing. Thank you for the really enlightening conversation about positivity, perseverance, and like your experience going through gaming communities and where and how you found a place in all of it.
yeah. I've been blessed.
That's awesome. And if people want to follow you or find out when you stream or learn more about you, how can people best contact you or follow you online?
At CaptAwesomeIRL, on Twitch, on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. But
Awesome.
yeah,
All the platforms. And we'll
all
link it. Yeah, and we'll link it in the description below as well. As well, for us at Grow Up Level Up, if you enjoyed what you heard today, please leave a comment. Please give us a rating. If you really liked what you heard, please consider subscribing on YouTube and on podcast services around the globe. You can always reach us at Grow Up Level Up on all the socials, or at Samson XP for myself on all the socials as well. Captain Awesome, do you have any closing words or thoughts before we sign off?
stay awesome.
Stay awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Captain Awesome.
Thank you.